has called for a new constitutional order that would place a cap on the number of ministers appointed by the president. We have for you Ghanaians have expressed mixed reactions to the call to reduce the size of the government amid the current economic challenges. If you will stay with us in the next 30 minutes, we have the details of these stories and many more coming up to you on the Wake Up News, including sports. Well, thank you very much for your time this morning. Let's begin with the president of the Ghana Institution of Surveyors, Mrs. Rose Margaret Esubonten, says the country does not have a comprehensive digital map base to support geoinformation delivery. The lack of digital map data, she stressed, is fueling a race among many public agencies to acquire and process their data. She added that
speaking at the launch of the 18th
accuracy and compatibility because the state mapping agency is not resourced to provide this basic need.
Surveyors Week and the 54th General Annual Meeting, she said, the absence of an integrated land information system and database which would provide the requisite information to support bodies such as local assemblies and the Ghana. Speaking at the launch of the 18th Surveyors Week and the 54th General Annual Meeting, she said, the absence of an integrated land information system and database which would provide the requisite information to support bodies such as local assemblies and the Ghana Revenue Authority to boost revenue from property rates and other land-based revenues was needed.
The lack of digital map data is fueling a race among many public agencies to acquire and process their own data. This creates serious challenges with accuracy and compatibility because the state mapping agency is not resourced to provide this basic need. Another gap is the integrated land information system and database. The absence of this is frustrating the ability to provide the requisite information to support bodies such as local assemblies and the Ghana Revenue Authority to boost revenue from property rates and other land-based revenue. Leverage on strong digital and electronic workflow processes to ensure greater interoperability between the Lands Commission and other bodies such as banks and financial institutions to facilitate collateralized lending, as well as the judiciary to facilitate land dispute resolution. Also, to facilitate the speedy delivery of secure and credible land titles within limited time frame, as well as merge disparately placed land data into a cohesive information for compensation, assessment, and payment, aligning resource endowments in natural resource sectors, planning infrastructure and transportation projects. Office infrastructure. An obvious gap in the effort to completely digitize land information into modern electronic formats requires these to be hosted in accommodation that ensure their safety, protection, and longevity.
She said there is a need to develop office infrastructure for the newly created regions beside Accra and Kumasi to support the operation of the public sector land agencies.
These facilities are available in the regions besides Accra and Kumasi. There is a need to develop office infrastructure especially for the newly created regions, in order to support the operations of the public sector land agencies. So a bit about the GHIS role in facilitating measures for improvement. By its nature, the Ghana Institution of Surveyors has a wide membership that straddle all the levers of the land administration space. It is incumbent to build partnerships to leverage these strengths in the public, customary, and local government spheres. Recent interventions and support reveal the ability of the institution to support government, its agencies, and partners to improve land administration through some of these support systems.
Now, President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo has presented 100 pickup vehicles, 600 motorbikes, and 6 armored personnel carrier vehicles to the police service in addition to commissioning the National Police Headquarters facelift project. According to the President, the presentation of the equipment are evidence, if anywhere needed, of the government's commitment to the continuous retooling of the police, a responsibility the government takes very seriously.
The 100 pickup vehicles, 600 motorbikes, and 6 APC vehicles handed over by the President on Tuesday are to be used by the formed police units in all regions of the country. According to the President, the police play a critical role in the development of the country. Hence, they need to ensure that the service is adequately resourced to discharge its duties for the safety and security of all Ghanaian citizens, as well as for the growth of economic activity.
This is highly commendable, even though I know we can do even more. I thus make an appeal to motorbike riders, especially, and to all other road users, to obey traffic regulations at all times. Ghana needs all of her citizens to help move her forward. The 100 pickup vehicles, 600 motorbikes, and 6 APC vehicles I'll be handing over shortly are to be used by the formed police units, FPUs, in all regions of the country.
Mr. Akufo-Addo urged the officers from the formed police units to undertake their duties with utmost professionalism, show love and civility to the community they serve, and work without fear or favor.
I want to urge the officers, men and women, who are going to serve in the FPUs across the regions to undertake their duties with utmost professionalism. Show love and civility to the communities you will be in, but at the same time, do your work without fear or favor. Always remember that you are accountable to the good people of Ghana. Ladies and gentlemen, it is refreshing to observe the numerous renovations and changes that have been carried out on the frontage and the immediate surroundings of the police headquarters.
Now on health, the Ghana Health Service is targeting to reduce malaria-related deaths by 90% by 2025. The director of the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Patrick Boahe, disclosed this in Sunyani during the launch of the Malaria Vaccine Expansion Implementation Program.
Malaria Vaccine Implementation Program was launched in May 2019 in 42 districts across 7 regions. As of December 2022, a total of 1.4 million doses of vaccine had been administered to eligible children, with 459,446 children receiving at least 1 dose and 184,418 children completing all 4 doses. The implementation of the program is expected to be increased and expanded from the current 42 districts to 93 districts. Dr. Boahe disclosed that the cases of malaria recorded in 2021 were so alarming the Ghana Health Service is taking all necessary steps to reduce the numbers and bring down the number of malaria-related deaths. He said there were about 5.7 million confirmed cases of malaria in 2021 and 275 deaths.
In Ghana, there are about 5.7 million confirmed cases of malaria in 2021 and 275 deaths. Children under the age of 5, which account for less than 20% of the population, accounted for 1.6 million of these cases. That's 28.1%. And nearly half of the deaths that occurred in 2021, as far as malaria is concerned. The current trend of malaria disease burden emphasizes the need to explore proven cost-effective tools to complement the existing interventions. Nana Chair, Ghana Health Service, working with our partners, are working towards the target of 90% reduction of malaria mortality, malaria deaths, and 50% reduction in malaria cases by 2025 through these prevention and control interventions.
Launching the expansion in the Sinyani East municipality in the Bono region, the Minister of Health, Kweku Agyemang-Manu, underlined the importance of malaria vaccine as an intervention towards the elimination of malaria.
Children of today are those who hold the country for the future. Enti benkwaje eni sebe abebe trase nyino em se ohia abane echene ye mpanimfo nyina ye yedie enti emanije ye mahohoahoa se maduru ha anope ya ye di dwumadie betudwa wosunyane ha em se mpanimfo abedi kanika se nyina baka malaria ho asem se na malaria sikuye kwana ye faswa nipa wu every 1 second bia 30 seconds eni botete bia malaria eku akraba ko wi ase nyina nkro countries be yedua malaria ku nipa kese pa no wi ase Ghana kra ho enti abare ni abre se bitua na mo no na fe yetimi eyi malaria kra every Ghana ye yare akura ekuye no.
Away from the Ghana Health Service, let's focus in the Bono East region, where residents of Mayanka, a community in the Techima South municipality, are calling on the government through the Techima Municipal Assembly to immediately ensure the removal of the refuse dump in the area. According to them, the refuse dump in the area has become a threat to their health due to its horrible stench.
Solid and liquid waste management has become increasingly prominent, especially in urban areas, which causes diseases like cholera. The horrible stench from the Mayanka refuse dump can be smelled a couple of meters away, but residents keep dumping refuse on the site unconcerned about the circumstances. According to some affected residents, the nature of the refuse dump does not promote good health.
Yes, niema kura niema fufu untimi hata no ha. Wo hata wansa no meba besisu. Ena aduane mpo a ebedi no. Yentimi ndi no abontene. Even fie yam kura yentimi ndi aduane ho. Je se di kura dem. Na ya di aduane o dem. Tank ni yama omu mbefa. Na tank ni yama omu mbefa. Inti tank ni yama na manfo so ba. Na tank na ayema. Omunfa nko wuka kura omunfie ben ha wuka omutimi bodua kura ka ho
semframani huba yentimi home ebe hu politics ni nyina begu ha ekukọ bebi wan se omo ahye no wusie ni kura yentimi home o but enam se ye pe ye kakra di ni nto no ye de animia na ye de te ha bisra sanko mutimi be yifiri ho maaya so omo kura omo so nkomu beba betu ne ye tua 50 pesos 1 cedi ne ayi omo ye ne sama ye krank ye pe
bola no momu de enukre bola no ehaye wa ha because pampai na every mu ba no enye asem kitiwa em se mu wa ha be kakra mu be hu se ampa enkoye kura adibia ebonbia o hia timidin so so boni bibia yade bi eba mikura meti hey o be hu se mi kasa mi hwinam kakra kata no.
Although the area is a populated community with adults and children, women and men sometimes openly defecate on the refuse dump, despite a school situated closer to the dump, a situation the residents say is worrying. Speaking to the head teacher of Aswaj Academy, Mr. Misbah Osman, he said the assembly only evacuates the refuse anytime the media visits the site. He said the situation is harmful to the health of students. He therefore called on the Municipal Assembly to immediately come to the aid by clearing the dump to make living comfortable in the locality.
Now, commuters who ply the Mampusi Line Road, a community in Seshiman in the Bono East region, are lamenting the deteriorating nature of the road. According to them, some holes developing the road are causing havoc on them. They are therefore calling on the authorities to pay attention to the road. Idrusu Hamzata reports.
Currently, where I am now is a stretch leading the people of Mampusi Line to town. As you can see, the road has started deteriorating, and you can visibly see the iron rod which was used to construct this road. We are here to engage pliers of this road to see how this has really affected them. Peter Kantabe, an Okada rider, cited his unfortunate encounter that nearly cost his life due to the holes in the road. Meanwhile, Pogba, also a rider, noted how an accident injured his passengers when he tried to make a dodge on the road.
Amana da kwan no finfin ansan da nkyɛn obetimi afeli atom mo behia hɔ kra mo ntimi mma yɔnko kwan me kra na anu kra me ka sɛ me praga e betɔwɔ anim hɔ amanfo na bɛboa me metwe yiye na kyerɛ sanka me wo load a ɔmo betimi apra ana ye betimi ahwe yɛn kwan nti kwan ne de sɛ ɔmo yɛ gata na kwan no kra me kra nka me hu sɛ ehia sene gata no because ahana lives efa sene sɛ ahanu nsu fi na ekɔ nti sɛ ɔmo yɛ de ɔmo force na ɔmo yɛ no so nka ho mai
kwan sɛ de kan ase aye ne de na kwan yɛ me nim sɛ bia ɔmo yɛ we no asa ayɛ bridge ni nyina aha ni nyina aka ho na mo sɛ ɔmo yɛ we na ɔmo yɛ nyina aka so ne de nyɛ mesere mo ankyɛ sɛ yɛ sra ban na sɛ ɔbɛyɛ a sɛ ɔmo yɛ we no bia aso nkɔ ɔmo yɛ saa no bridge ni kakra ne mai ya kwan nyame yɛ ahanum de dangerous because amana mienu bi da hɔ nsa na dwene sɛ wo ba na sɛ wanhwɛ yɛ na sɛ wo to amana ma papa mba nti yɛsrɛ we de Ghana for ya adwene no yɛntana nhwɛ ansa na ɛbɛyɛ ansa na yɛka sɛ yɛnim yɛ anka so nti saa no mo kwan we sɛ wo firi hɔ ba na sɛ wo hyɛ akola bi hɔ a obo nsa bɛn kwa na wo suru.
The commuters want the government to fix the road after the construction of the bridge to prevent any future accident.
Mina we mo de wa nipa si tutom no ene pragia ni moto bikes moto no the way si tutom no enya agoro nti yesrem penfo sanka omonye ma omonye go taidi anka omonya ngina so no nka omonye babi aboto kuro no manya sa na ano me ba sei me hwa me doje akola ba ko na me ko wura go tam no mo boam no mpega pragia no pie ma me nipa wotim kura wo prae nti yesrem penfo se omonhwe no omonye ho no manya sa haye pa haye pa.
Pliers of the road have lamented on the poor nature of the road. They therefore urge the government to intervene. For Globe TV News, Idrisu Hamzata.
You're still watching the bulletin live on Globe TV. Still to come in politics, Majority Leader in Parliament has called for a new constitutional order that would place a cap on the number of ministers appointed by the President. We have for you Ghanaians have expressed mixed reactions to the call to reduce the size of the government amid the current economic challenges. Well, do stay with us for more stories. Welcome back. Now, the Chief Executive of the National Petroleum Authority, Dr. Mustafa Abdul Hamid, says the NPA, in consultation with the Association of Oil Marketing Companies, has developed criteria for the distribution of the next consignment of petroleum products imported under the government's Gold for Oil program. According to him, this is to ensure consumers across the country fit the impact of the program, while addressing the concerns of the Association of Oil Marketing Companies. Association of the Oil Marketing Companies concerning the lack of clarity in the allocation of products supplied under the Gold for Oil program to its members. Dr. Hamid noted on Wednesday at the Meet the Press in Accra.
Called me to ask me, but we understand the first consignment and the Gold for Oil has come. Why is it that it hasn't reflected at the pumps? Now, what happened was that, of course, 40,000 metric tons is not enough to, if you want, cause a significant change in the prices. But even so, one of the highest buyers of the Gold for Oil product in the first consignment was GOIL. And GOIL's prices were brought down by up to about 70 pesos. Other OMCs that also got some consignment of Gold for Oil gave us a reduction of about 10 to 20 pesos. That's still not significant though. So this time, MPA's Gold for Oil team, which is led by the Deputy Chief Executive, Peroku Jeto, the Sheila Ado, the Policy Coordinator, and there is Abbas Tasunti, they've come out with a brilliant idea that in this second consignment of Gold for Oil products that have come, we are going to sell only to OMCs with not less than 45 outlets. You see, because if you are, our local people call something sopi sopi, there are 150 oil marketing companies. If you are selling sopi to all the 150 companies, you will not realize the impact. But if you are selling to the people with the highest number of outlets, then its effect will be felt across the country in terms of the price reduction. So this time we are monitoring to ensure that we are selling only to OMCs that have highest presence in terms of number of outlets and also the spread of the outlets across the country. So
now in politics, the majority leader in Parliament, Jose Mensah Bonsu, has called for a new constitutional order that would place a cap on the number of ministers appointed by the president. His call follows demands by the minority caucus in Parliament for President Nana Akufo-Addo to downsize his government in the wake of the economic challenges.
Speaking at the launch of the 30 years of parliamentary democracy, Mensah Bonsu outlined a series of benefits to be achieved with the consideration of constitutional reform. According to him, Ghana needs a constitutional order that would mitigate the winner-takes-all attitude and prevent the do-or-die combat associated with elections.
Mr. Speaker, it is time to re-engineer our constitutional architecture to conform to today's realities. We need a constitutional order that frowns upon winner-takes-all syndrome and promotes collaboration, collectiveness, and consensus building in decision-making at all levels of governance. We need a new constitutional order that will ensure gender equity and, in many respects, equality to promote real development. Mr. Speaker, as you are aware, the Inter-Parliamentary Union, the IPU, has resolved that by 2025, all parliaments in the world must comprise of at least 30% women representation.
Giving his remarks, the Speaker of Parliament, Alban Bagbin, advised that elections and successful government changeovers are not the only determinants of a working democracy. Therefore, Ghana must focus on strengthening its democratic institutions to ensure a sustainable democracy.
This is a very important conference and gives us the opportunity not only to continue the celebration of the 30th anniversary, but also to market our country. It gives us the opportunity to turn things around, not only in terms of democracy, but also in terms of our economy. You cannot be politically free when you are economically dependent. And so Africa should stop deceiving itself that we are politically free.
Away informed that some Ghanaians have expressed mixed reactions to the call to reduce the size of the government amid the current economic challenges. Speaking to Globe TV News about recent calls on the government to limit the number of ministers, some believed a large number of ministers could increase the government expenditure, thus fueling the economic crisis. Others also say the president should increase the numbers to enable him to control the affairs of the country.
Following the resignation of some ministers in government, the President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo on 7th of February 2023 announced ministerial nominees to fix in the vacancies. But here is the case: the minority caucus in Parliament has called on the government to immediately reduce the number of ministers because they believed their decision is in line with the sentiments of Ghanaians. Let's find out. Let's hear from this man to see what he has to say about the minority's decision.
As I was saying earlier on, I'm not agree with them. They should rather add more ministers because Ghanaians, we are not a people that we understand issues, simple issues. So they should add more ministers so that the government can control the Ghanaians. So omuya ne kete na say ministers be 50 and 60 Ghanaians no omu ntumi nhwe so isan say ya sword and ye mpe say obi be hye yenso nti ministers na ye more there at least enipa be 100 and even say 1 million na nipa minister ba ko hwe omo a ye better sans ye be keka ne ma bom na omu ntumi nya adwuma na effectively say ye ministers 10 na omo betua overpayment amount sana beye danse obefa bebre na yetume se omo pay no na esoso na se yebete so nkakra ye better since ye de be manipa ketewa bi mo adiska ni na.
When you go to Vega, the chop myself will be the problem. Even saving self that I was saving now, they are not able to save that. That is why I said that so many ministers in the government. There is no benefit that from them. So that is the only view that I have. The expenditure that the government has been spending from them is too much, because if you check even the transport and the services that the government has been spending on them is too much. If the ministers should reduce, I hope that will help.
About the number of ministers, I agree with them perfectly. There are many, over 2 ministers, 110 plus deputy ministers, 200. Look at the amount that they are collecting, and look at the pressure that is on the country now. Now I sell pure water. Now a row used to be 400 Ghana cedis, but now today, just this morning, one is 875. I have workers that I pay them. This thing is what you call carbon. One was 10 cedis, 50, now it's 25 cedis. This was 5 cedis, now it's 15 cedis. So I'm spending about 3 times on each of this. When that food and transport, you need to go and pay money there. At least let's reduce the number. It's too much. At 80 people can manage this country. We have a community and they say Zongo community. So the Zongo is inside the community. Why do you have a Zongo minister and you have minister again for that same particular place? It's too bad.
We do have for you the latest in the world of sports.
It's sports time on the Wake Up Show. Remember, there were UCL games yesterday. We have results and the highlights from the various games for you this morning. And also, the UEFA Europa League is going to continue. FC Barcelona will play Manchester United at the Old Trafford as they battle for a place in the knockout stages of the competition. And also, Erik ten Hag says he believes his men will win this game against FC Barcelona. Rafael Varane has told his teammate what they should do if they really want to eliminate FC Barcelona from the UEFA Europa League. And also, the Ghana Football Association are set to unveil the contract details of the new Black Stars coach Chris Hughton. Now, the MTN FA Cup Committee have announced plans for women and children in the round of 16 fixtures of the competition. Now, let's go for this quick break. We'll be back with the details of the stories. You're welcome back. Let's begin from the results of the UEFA Champions League. RB Leipzig at the Red Bull Arena scored 1 and Manchester City also equalized that. So it was a 1-0 draw at the Red Bull Arena, and also at the San Siro Giuseppe Meazza, Inter Milan 1, FC Porto 0. A goal from Romelu Lukaku was enough to do the job for Inter Milan.
Globe TV, bringing the world to you. Globe TV, bringing the world to you. Globe TV, bringing the world to you.
Second legs of the knockout playoffs of the Europa League will continue today. FC Nantes will take on Juventus. Remember that the aggregate score was 1-1. And also we have Midtjylland against Sporting CP. AS Monaco will take on Bayern 04 Leverkusen. PSV Eindhoven versus Sevilla. And also the big game is Manchester United versus FC Barcelona. The aggregate score is 2-2. We have Rennes against Shakhtar Donetsk, and also Union Berlin versus Ajax Amsterdam. And now AS Roma have a mountain to climb as they seek to overturn the 1-0 deficit against RB Salzburg. Now, Erik ten Hag refused to be drawn into comment about FC Barcelona and referee scandal. However, he believes his players are ready to win the game for Manchester United.
Yeah, it's obvious. I think that is the development in international football, and so there are regulations, and everyone has to keep the regulations. It's also clear. But be fair, I'm not totally informed about all those regulations. It's not my job in the club, and my job is to have a good team, to develop the team, and so give good team performances. Yeah, definitely, and we all want to play big games, big matches, and that is. But when we were young, and we dreamed of it, and we are now in a position, and it's still February, as you say, but a big game is coming up, and we are really enjoy it. We're really looking forward to it. We're really excited.
Now, Rafael Varane, per his experience of playing against FC Barcelona, has advised his teammates on what they should do if they want to beat FC Barcelona.
I think the first game against Barcelona was a very good game, top level, two offensive teams who wants to press high on the pitch. The level was very good, and it was a good result for us. Obviously, in the first half we could score maybe more goals, but in general we played with character and personality on the pitch, which was very important. And I think for the second game we know exactly how we want to play. We want to play with passion, with discipline on the pitch, and believe. And I think we have a good team. And
now, enough of the foreign stories. Let's now take a look at some local stories. The Ghana Football Association has revealed that it will not keep the contract details of new Blasters coach Chris Hughton hidden from the public. Although the announcement of Hughton's appointment was made earlier this month, the specifics of the contract were not disclosed. And now the communications director of the Ghana Football Association, Henry Asante Chum, has confirmed that there will be a ceremony to unveil the coach, and that is where the contract details will also be made public. And also the FA Cup Committee has announced that women and children below the ages of 15 will be granted free entry at various venues in this weekend's MTN FA Cup run of 16 matches. However, fans that do not fall within this category would have to purchase match tickets at very affordable rate at the match venues. Home teams are expected to announce the match rates latest by Friday, February 24th, 2023, which happens to be exactly tomorrow. Now, that's how we draw the curtains down on sports this morning. I am Robert Konye. Thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome back. Let's take a recap of the top stories. President Akufo-Addo has presented pickup vehicles, motorbikes and armored personnel carrier vehicles to the police service. And on health, the Ghana Health Service is targeting to reduce malaria-related deaths by 90% by 2025. Well, thank you for your time this morning. I am Sandra Eduboin. Coming up now is Yes Insane.